Right, let's switch gear now and have a look at what's going on in the world of technology. US-based Citrix systems providing cloud computing technologies that let users work or play almost anywhere and on any device. The chief executive is Mark Templeton. He believes what he calls will be the consumerization of IT and that it will be a powerful force for change in the coming years. Mark Templeton, thank you very much indeed for joining us there from Singapore. What do you mean by that?
Well, cloud computing is actually allowing businesses to reinvent the way people work, the way they compute, and actually the way they do business on a global basis. And one of the important ways they're doing that is to allow people to actually use personal devices, all kinds of form factors, smartphones, tablets, laptops, ultrabooks, etc., and work from anywhere across boundaries, any kind of boundary that exists, geographic, corporate boundaries, etc.
Okay, well, you know, how does that at the moment change your business itself?
Well, these trends are powering our business in an amazing way. You know, we just reported our 2011 results, record growth for the company in revenue and profitability, because we're in these really amazing markets that allow people to collaborate with each other, allow them to share documents and data, and get to every kind of business application they need, regardless of the device they're carrying. And at the same time, we're powering the build-out of amazing set of cloud services in data centers and in public areas like, you know, with Amazon and GoDaddy here in Asia, Korea Telecom, IDC Frontier, Singtel, and many of the big telcos that are building out basic cloud services to power the future.
It seems also, you know, that the tablet is changing the environment that we live in, isn't it?
It is. It's allowing people to dine on information, which it turns out there are more people out there that want to dine on information than actually want to create information. And this process of dining with a tablet or even snacking with a smartphone has caused an explosion in the number of mobile devices, and you can see the growth rates in these kinds of form factors are far exceeding the growth of classical desktop PCs and laptops.
Yeah, I'm going to ask, is the PC dead? But I'll come to that in a second. Well, how does it affect your earnings as well? How was 2011, and how do you project it actually to feed through to your bottom line looking ahead this year?
Well, you know, the explosion of these devices is actually allowing people to choose their own and bring them into the workplace. And we solved the problem for IT when people bring those into the workplace and allow IT to actually deliver all of the corporate information and applications and capabilities without worrying about security and, you know, turning these things on and off. And so, you know, it's supporting amazing growth for us. So last year was a record year. We're up 18% year over year to $2.2 billion. Record cash flow, record growth in our deferred revenues, and record setting in Asia Pacific, our leading region of the world in terms of growth, up 33% year over year.
Right, but playing catch-up, of course, it is your fastest growing part of the world, but it's one which is probably going to far exceed the rest of the world probably combined, given the population. And do you foresee a time like that on the horizon?
Yes, obviously it'll take some time to overtake some of the other regions of the world. But the dynamics here are absolutely fantastic because, you know, over the next 10 years, most of the experts predict that there'll be 1.5 billion people joining the middle class centered in Asia-Pacific regions, and they'll want to consume computing from the cloud on smartphone types of form factors and tablet kinds of form factors. They may never even touch a PC in their entire lives. And that, you know, that portends a great future for us as we power cloud services in the back end and allow people to work and choose any kind of device. And as we know here in Asia, this is where they're invented, this is where they're built, and there's always a new one, a hot new one coming out every single day.
Okay, you spent what, just over $1.5 billion on R&D, research and development, over the last 7 years. Let's also talk about 15 companies that you've bought since 2000. Is it this double-edged strategy? Are you looking more in the market for further acquisitions? What sort of acquisitions would you be looking at? Would they bolt on, or would they be actually more transformative than that?
Yeah, we have approached acquisitions, I think, very intelligently focusing on a mix of strategic, transformational, as well as more tactical and sort of tuck-ins, and done a fantastic job of gaining synergies off of them. So last year we actually spent a little over $500 million on 7 acquisitions. The acquisition of Cloud.com that brought us a basic cloud stack infrastructure for powering Amazon-style clouds. We also acquired a really exciting new company in the data sharing market that allowed people to share documents across any kind of device. So those are 2 transformative kinds of acquisitions. And then the others that we did were really supporting the growth of existing businesses, either in collaboration, virtual desktops, or in our really hot cloud networking business.
Mark, very quickly, well, 2 questions in one. Is the PC dying? Does it die? That's one question. The other thing is, and what's the next hot thing?
So first, no, the PC is not dead. The PC is being reinvented, and we just saw that happen in a big way at the CES conference with the explosion around ultrabooks. And an ultrabook is basically a laptop that has many of the same characteristics of a tablet: long battery life, very thin, very light, very portable. And we'll see these ultrabooks actually start to take on the connectivity characteristics, which is probably the next hot thing. Imagine, a really thin laptop that lasts all day, that has a 4G kind of interface. Imagine that. You can, and with Citrix technologies behind it, you can take your office, your work, absolutely anywhere and have a really high definition, rich experience.
Got your plug in at the end there, Mark. Thank you very much indeed. Mark Templeton there, joining us from Singapore, the Chief Executive of Citrix Systems. Right, you got to